Hello and welcome to They Think It's All Over. With Gary and Rory is the finest cricket commentator in world history, who's only here because a brilliant doctor saved his life when he was born. It was the first but not the last time he was able to say what a marvellous delivery that was. Richie Benno. With David and Jonathan is one half of Britain's greatest ever ice dance duo, who shares with Brian Clough the honour of being awarded the Freedom of Nottingham. They both got it for their amazing ability to stay on 2 feet against the odds. Jayne Torvill. And just to remind everyone, we've got Richie here tonight, one of the great elder statesmen of sport, so no swearing, no filth, no locker room humour. Any of that, Jayne, and you're out. Understood? OK. We get things underway with Sing When You're Winning. We play part of a song, and the teams have to tell us what line follows. This week, we have 2 numbers sung by the Barmy Army during the England cricket team's successful tour of Sri Lanka earlier this year. Gary, Rory and Richie, here's yours.
Row, row, row the ball gently down the sea.
So, what comes next, Gary's team?
Can I just start off by saying it's a great honour to have Richie on the show. You're a cricket commentator now, but not many people know that you actually were captain of Australia for 28 tests, is that right?
That was right.
And you never, ever lost a series, did you?
Didn't lose a series.
Well, like you, David Gower is also now a cricket commentator. Is it difficult when you're commentating in the Ashes that, you know, you have to be careful not to slag off the opposition?
Always want to see Australia win everything when they're on the pitch.
So I've got a quote from you here in early commentary. It's been a marvellous day's cricket here at Edgbaston, apart from those pommy bastards who are batting with their heads up their asses as usual. Especially their captain, one D.R. Gower, Esquire. A long streak of paralysed pelican piss, if ever I saw it.
1985.
That's right.
Throw. This is very difficult. I was voted the worst singer in the 1953, 56 and 61 tours, and then I retired. Throw the ball gently down the seam. Gutting's here, so someone hide the pies and cake and cream.
I don't think anybody's going to take that title off you, Richie, quite honestly.
Throw the ball gently down the seam. Boring, 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 boring. I'd rather watch Torvill and Dean.
Throw the ball gently down the seam. Who let the dogs out?
Is that it? Isn't it?
No, that's not it, Gary.
I just wanted to do that.
That was very good. I like that.
That was quite scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit.
You seemed quite butch for a minute there.
I think it's a pun, because the original was Merrily, Merrily, Merrily.
Yes.
I think it's a pun on, is he a Pakistani or a
Muralitharan.
Sri Lankan?
Sri Lankan bowler.
Yeah.
Some people thought that he had a slightly suspect action until they proved at the University of Western Australia that he has a double super extended elbow that goes back to front.
That doesn't scan, Richie.
No?
So is it something like throw the ball gently down the seam. Murally has a generally extended hyper thing.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points for that, indeed, yes. This is how it goes on.
Row the ball gently down the sea. Merrily, chucks it like a dream.
Yes, indeed. A reference to the controversial action of Sri Lankan spinner Mattaya Muralitharan, although he's been accused of throwing Murali's...
That's fantastic.
Mattaya Muralitharan.
Brilliant. Muralitharan, I think, is... Wouldn't you agree, Richie?
Muralitharan.
Well, okay,
Muralitharan. Marvellous delivery there.
Australians.
I must apologise for David. He hasn't had his HRT pills today.
I've never seen him look better.
Although he's been accused of throwing, Murali's action has been thoroughly examined by experts and cleared on the grounds that he's got an unusual number of joints in his right hand. Not as many as Phil Tufnell, I'll bet. Murali's dad is from Kandy and, as luck would have it, became a confectioner. His mum is from Colombo and became a shambling one-eyed detective. David's team, the Barmy Army, repaired to the bar for their next ditty.
Athers is a rotor with 3 lines on his cap. He goes in first for England. He is our finest bats. He scores them on the left side. He scores them on the right.
He's followed in by Gower, and he's a load of shite.
Honestly, it's fine. I can cope with the ceaseless witterings of the unemployed. It's not a problem.
Jane, it is lovely to have you on the show, isn't it, David?
Thank you.
It's very nice. Very
And may
pleasant.
I say how lovely it is, because I know that they've asked you many times over the years, and you have, probably quite wisely, always refused to come on. So I suspect now that I'm on and I've raised the tone a bit, you realise that...
Absolutely.
But I know in the early days they've sometimes made jokes at the expense of ice skating. If you cast your mind back to the very early days when there was a very slim Nick Hancock before his terrible and cruel addiction to pies.
It's not a laughing matter.
It's not, is it?
This man said that ice dancing...
Oh,
it's just...
you don't knock in the face, come on.
Sorry, I'm too far.
Don't worry,
Ice
you won't hit
dancing.
her.
There you go.
What was like ice dancing is just twatting around on the ice in a frock.
That's basically it, yeah.
How dare you? You know, she was... Yeah, but that's so unfair. She was prattling around in a tutu. But it's a tough sport, because you were injured many times, weren't you?
Yeah, you can take some falls. Yeah.
I read once, didn't you get injured? You caught your bootlace in Christopher's ring, is that right? This happened, didn't it?
Yes, it was the hook on the boot.
Blimey, I tell you, I'd love to have seen that. I bet that took some explaining, didn't it? Did it end? Did it go, do you really like it? Do you really like it? Well, load it, load it, load it. Load it, load it, load it. Do you really like it? Come on, join in. Do you really like it? Well, load it, load it, load it.
Iron upper, iron upper.
Iron Napper, what a marvellous song.
Yeah.
Is it... I mean, is it something to do with the bats all through the night? It's a sort of... It's a...
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points for that, yeah.
Well done. Well done, Captain.
Here's the full version.
He scores them on the left side, he scores them on the right. And when he plays Sri Lanka, he scores all through the night.
Steve Waugh calls Mike Atherton the cockroach because no matter how many times you stamp on him, he always gets up again. That and the fact that when you turn the light on, he hides under the fridge. Mike Atherton's highest test score is 185 not out. Even better than that, David Gower's highest test score is 215. It's not funny, it's true, and it'll be edited out of the show. Not really. When you say, what a wonderful delivery that was.
What a wonderful delivery that was.
So exciting. And at the end of that round, David's team have 3 points and Gary's team have 3 points.
Well done.
It's another outing for our lip-reading round now, all about the words sportsmen say in the heat of action. Gary's team, here's the moment when our very own Jayne Torvill was practising with partner Christopher Dean in preparation for their Winter Olympic comeback in '94. And Chris made her cry.
What the hell's Gower doing there?
First day of the test against Australia got out quick. Straight up to Milton Keynes.
The weather looked right as well for the first day of the test
Extra
series.
coaching.
Yeah, quick afternoon stalking. Great fun.
But do you not find when you met Jane this afternoon, as soon as you met Jane, you started hearing dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum.
Do you really like it?
I don't know if you've ever done this, but I found that's ideal music to make love to a beautiful lady. Because it goes on and on and on and on for quite a long while. Rather like my good self. Now, but then I noticed when you did so well and getting all the sixes, it was a shorter version, and yet it came to the point much sooner. Now, I'm not saying I was doing anything at home when I was watching it, but I was somewhat surprised. I'm curious, was that a different version of it?
It was specially orchestrated to last 4 minutes because that's the rules of competition.
So you can get a 4-minute version?
You can, yeah.
You couldn't put that on a tape for Rory, could you? And you know, the end of it, it used to end... You couldn't put that on a tape for Gary, could you?
Jane, I read somewhere that you and Christopher were quite superstitious, and he wore the same pair of blue Marks and Spencer's underpants for 16 years.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently.
It wouldn't work in cricket, you
You'd
see,
have
'cause
noticed,
when
surely.
David was facing West Indian bowlers, he had to change underpants 6 times every over.